Do you know that every thought you think online, every ad you click, every post you like, even the anger you feel when you scroll through your feed, is not an accident? What if I told you that behind every notification, every recommendation, and every endless scroll, there's a billion-dollar machine quietly pulling the strings of your mind? And the most chilling part? You never agreed to play the game. You just woke up one day, and you were already inside it. This is the untold story of how Facebook, the company that once promised to connect the world, rewired human behavior, reshaped societies, and made unimaginable billions not by selling products, but by selling you. Before we pull back the curtain, if you're fascinated by the hidden stories behind billion-dollar empires, incredible money stories, and the business tactics that shape our world, make sure to subscribe now. We tell real stories and reveal the secrets they don't want you to know. Now let's dive deep. It started almost innocently. A college dorm room. Harvard University. A socially awkward computer genius named Mark Zuckerberg launches a website called the Facebook, a simple directory of students designed to help classmates connect, share, and build a digital community. In the beginning, it wasn't about money. It wasn't about power. It was about status, connection, and belonging, primal human needs. Facebook spread like wildfire through Harvard, then other Ivy League schools, then colleges across America. By 2006, anyone over the age of 13 could join. By 2008, Facebook was exploding worldwide. It was a revolution built on friendship, family, and trust. But revolutions rarely stay pure. As Facebook grew, a problem emerged. The investors, the executives, the early employees, they all wanted something Zuckerberg didn't focus on at first: profit. How do you monetize human connection? Selling ads was the obvious answer. But ads based on age, gender, or location weren't enough. The real gold was attention. Who you paid attention to. What made you laugh? What made you cry? What made you angry? Facebook realized that to dominate the internet, it needed to do more than host your social life. It needed to shape it. It wasn't enough to know what you posted. It needed to predict what you would feel next. Thus began the greatest social experiment the world had ever seen. And you were the unwitting subject. In Silicon Valley, there's a saying, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. Facebook perfected this idea into an art form. To maximize revenue, they had to maximize time on site. To maximize time on site, they had to hack your brain's deepest survival mechanisms. Enter the infinite scroll, borrowed from gambling psychology. The like button, a digital dopamine drip. Algorithmic news feeds, curating rage, fear, desire, and tribalism. Each feature meticulously engineered not to make your life better, but to make your engagement stronger. The more emotional you became, the longer you stayed. The longer you stayed, the more ads they could show you. The more ads they showed you, the more billions they made. It wasn't a social network anymore. It was an attention factory. And attention, it turns out, was more addictive and more valuable than anything humanity had ever sold before. But Facebook didn't stop at manipulating emotions. It began training emotions. Through subtle nudges, what posts you saw first, which friends' updates were buried, which news stories appeared in your feed. Facebook could gradually shift your worldview. Imagine a newspaper that showed each reader a completely different front page, depending on what would make them react the strongest. That's Facebook. Your version of reality was no longer shaped by facts. It was shaped by algorithms designed to inflame you, because outrage keeps you glued to the screen longer than joy. And the real tragedy? You didn't even notice it happening. Bit by bit, click by click, scroll by scroll, your perception of the world was being engineered, not by truth, but by what was most profitable to a giant corporation. You weren't a user. You were a subject in a psychological experiment that never ended. While users thought they were chatting with friends and sharing vacation photos, Facebook was quietly building the most detailed psychological profiles ever created. Your political leanings, your deepest fears, your spending habits, your relationships, your vulnerabilities, every like, every comment, every pause while scrolling, fed into a machine learning model that knew you better than you knew yourself. Advertisers didn't just buy ads. They bought access to your mind. Want to sell sneakers to impulsive teenagers who feel insecure? Want to push conspiracy theories to people prone to paranoia? Want to sway swing voters days before an election? Facebook could deliver your audience with surgical precision, and they charged a premium for it. Billions became tens of billions. Tens of billions became hundreds. At its peak, Facebook was generating over $100 million per day in ad revenue, all built on manipulating the human mind at scale. But there was a cost, a devastating cost. As Facebook's algorithms prioritized outrage, division, and sensationalism, the real world began to fracture. Elections were influenced by fake news. Protests turned into riots fueled by misinformation. Genocides were stoked by hate speech that spread like wildfire. Depression and anxiety skyrocketed among teenagers glued to curated illusions of perfect lives. The very fabric of reality, what is true, what is false, what matters, began to erode. And the architects of this new world? They insisted they were just providing a platform, a neutral tool. But leaked internal memos told a different story. Facebook's own researchers warned executives again and again. Our platform promotes division. We are harming democracy. We are damaging mental health. The response? Suppression of the findings. Prioritization of growth and engagement metrics. Because the truth was simple. What was bad for the world was good for business. It wasn't until whistleblowers like Frances Haugen stepped forward that the public glimpsed the scale of the manipulation. Thousands of internal documents revealed Facebook's knowledge of the harms it was causing and its unwillingness to change. Governments launched investigations. Congress held hearings. The public outcry grew louder. Yet, Facebook endured. It changed its name to Meta. It pivoted to the metaverse. It promised reforms. But behind the rebrand, behind the virtual reality dreams, one thing stayed constant. The machine to capture, manipulate, and monetize human attention never stopped running. Because, in the end, the business model remained too profitable to abandon. Today, Facebook is no longer just a website. It's a world. A world where billions of people live their social lives, get their news, form their opinions, and even define their identities, all inside a system that was designed, first and foremost, to profit from their emotions. It is a world where manipulation is invisible and nearly inescapable. And unless we understand the game being played, we remain the pawns. So what can we learn from Facebook's story? That attention is the most valuable currency in the world. That technology shapes behavior more powerfully than laws or governments. And that businesses who control perception control the future. The question is, will we remain passive users? Or will we reclaim control over what we see, what we believe, and who we become? The choice is ours. If you found this story eye-opening, and you want more deep dives into the hidden business empires shaping our lives and other fascinating stories about businesses and money, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We've only just scratched the surface. The next story might just change how you see everything.